everyone. Welcome to Make It Monday. I'm going to make this one a really short one. And this is called Making It Through This Monday. I have not done very much at all except feed myself today, get dressed, and relax. And you see the vacuum cleaner behind me? Well, hopefully I'll run that in a bit. And I'll reward myself with a candy bar when I do. And I'm going to work on sorting some beads. And we are supposed to go grocery shopping tonight. We did not do that yesterday, but you know what? If we don't go, it's not going to be the end of the world. We have some groceries to get us through. And so that's another piece of this all. Grocery shopping, probably. Will be on my agenda, but I'm not sure if we'll do it today. I'm trying to stay out of the grocery stores as much as possible. We've been cooking a lot, and it's been fun. Sometimes just simple things have become fun to eat. I made bananas, sliced bananas with a little chocolate syrup last night and whipped cream for dessert. It was yummy. And it looked cute. I decorated. I have fun, presenting this to my husband. And I've been cooking more for him than him cooking for me because he's still working. And he's in the engineering field. And a lot of engineers are working on machines to keep us going as a country. And, so that's my kids were joking. My daughter-in-law and my daughter-in-law's father is an engineer as well. And my son, of course, with his father, and their dads are like, we were equating them to and making jokes. They're like the fighter pilots of of this war against this foe. And we were just, but in truth, they are some of the heroes out there that are keeping us going. I have, my daughter is still working as well, as she is kind of keeping her restaurant in that particular restaurant chain going, and she's, putting in some hours, and she isn't putting in the usual number of hours, but she's working a full work week. She often used to work overtime, but she's expecting a baby, so she was supposed to cut her hours down to 40, and she's working about that right now. And my son and his wife, for 3 weeks, they've been working from home out in Seattle, and so we're all so grateful to be working yet. And the main change is we're just thinking about more of where we're going and what we're doing. Having Meniere's disease, this has been my lifestyle for the last 5 years, to be at home and occasional trips maybe to the grocery store. Or last year I finally was getting to church, but we curtailed that already in January when I could see that virus was spreading, and it wasn't out there, but I had a concern about it. And knowing how we are a mobile society, and once one country has something, we all are susceptible to get it because we are such a mobile society that you're going to have people that bring it to you through their travel, through work. We just, the only thing you can do is just cut down and limit your exposure, which we already were doing by not going to church. but certainly still keeping up our own prayerful lives. My mother is in assisted living and I'm not able to see her. I have brought supplies to her. I have called on occasion. I do need to make my weekly call to her assisted living. I sent out a letter because they were asking for volunteers, and I have put myself on a list of volunteers if we go to another stage in this pandemic process. Right now, we're on stage 1 at their assisted living. If we go to stage 2 or stage 3, they will need volunteers for certain tasks, and I have volunteered my services for those. As long, of course, as anyone stays healthy is always the stipulation with all of that. But, my husband and I talked it over before I signed this form, and my professional areas of expertise might be useful. So I decided that that was a good way to help others in this crisis if need be. So, you know, and this is not something that, hasn't always been in place. When I was working as a reading specialist, I actually had training for clinics when a pandemic would occur, and it was some cutting edge training also. It wasn't something that everywhere in the United States they were doing, but it was something that was really a prototype for things that they're putting in place now. These procedures that they're using, there was a plan out there, just so you know. It wasn't totally, I don't think things were updated as much as they should have been, because I should have been a while ago called and been asked to be taken off the list for people, which, and had that clarified. But when I retired, but I did have a phone call prior to being retired that I would be called up in my county because of the training that I had. So, I mean, it's very possible I could get a call anyway. So, putting myself as a volunteer in this way would be the way I could still participate in the type of thing that I took some of my own time to be trained in when I was a working woman. So, but I'm telling you about this because I want you to realize that professionals have had plans in place for you for many years. So it isn't like we're starting from scratch, but we, just like you have that smoke alarm probably in your house, you need to change the batteries sometimes, and sometimes you forget to change them. So it's very possible in some areas that we forgot to change the batteries, and so we need to, take out some old records, look them up, and fall into place those protocols that we have, those protocols that we hoped we never would have to use. And that's what's been happening everywhere. So I wanted you to realize that. We do training as professionals everywhere we work. There are tragedies that occur, even when you don't have this. My husband and I were watching a program, which was an old program about a university where they were having an incident. And there were certain things that they weren't doing, but this was an old show, and it was before certain things that have happened in our society where they don't have drills. And it was kind of funny because, they were modeling the things you need to do in a crisis, but with people that were in college and they were freaking out and all this kind of stuff. And I used to have to do this with my little wee kindergartners, go through drills, and they that was a time when there was actually an active incident just weeks before, and we did more drills when that happened because we felt more the possibility of a threat at an elementary level. So, we know about locking the doors and, taking cover and all that kind of stuff. And your small children, if they go to public school, they go through those drills. And we do tornado drills every year, and and fire drills to practice. And sometimes, though, I think for pandemics, we don't have drills, we don't go through drills as a society. Maybe we should. Maybe this will create, a sense of having to have drills once in a while so that people know what to do, or, public awareness announcements and so on. But, I want to reassure you that, yes, we have things that maybe don't seem like they were in place, but we are not starting from scratch. Just know that. We may have had to dust off a few protocols and procedures and maybe make sure we have personnel in place in this country, but we had plans. So please be reassured that there were plans there and that you are being looked after. You are being told what to do and how to take care of yourselves in ways that have been well thought out for years. So do know that. Could we have done better? Of course, but almost in every situation you could do better. And I hope this explains some of what's going out there. So, like I said, this is a Make It Monday, but today it's making through Monday, making it through Monday, making it through this crisis. My daughter and I, and my son and I, and my husband and my son-in-law and daughter-in-law, we all talked and conversed this weekend. It's kind of like a weekend call. We should have been doing that all along, but we didn't do it every weekend. Now we do. We had a very nice visit with each other. It was really nice. And I slept so well Saturday night when I did fall asleep. Of course, I was kind of so excited that I didn't right away, but because it was such a nice visit. My daughter, our conversations are transformed a little bit. I bet your whole way of life is transformed too. We are more conscious about what we're eating, more grateful for our food. We are we are making sure that we're using our resources, our food supplies, all of our supplies more thoughtfully, which we always should be doing. My daughter was talking about the next meal and reminding her husband that they needed to eat the berries because they're not going to last. And, which I kind of had to chuckle, and I said, we're doing the same thing. We decide which meat we're going to use first because we look at those expiration dates and so on. Today I had saltines for lunch with, for my little mealtime snack for my lunch today, after a nice healthy breakfast. But I had a little snack of crackers and cheese and a soft drink for lunch. And when I looked at the crackers, I looked at, oh my goodness, the date on these is tomorrow. And usually we try to, we might tend to pitch something that was like that. But, I opened those up and we'll probably use them, while they're still good. The other box I had, which was larger, that I just replaced a couple weeks ago, when I saw them, I was like, oh, we could use these, when I did the shopping. I didn't grab rolls and rolls of toilet paper. I knew I had plenty at home, didn't need to buy any. And same with Kleenex. We just stocked up on a little bit with what I knew we needed. I thought we were going to have to buy a little bit more tonight when we go, but I think if I replace just one of the boxes I have, I think we should be good, because I did find 3 that I bought that we still had. So, and that's the 3 that I bought. That was my big stock up. Not even, the 4 that come in a pack. So, because I already knew I had 2 at home. And so, we're not, we're conscious about what others might need and taking what we might need and being very conscious about what we're shopping for. So the other crackers that I had were for July. I found some others that I didn't like that were wheat based, and I have those out in a more visible spot that we could use next before we tap into the other box of crackers. And so that is something that we're doing, and I bet you're doing it too. This is something simple to do if you're not doing it. Jeff and I have not been supporting our takeout as much as we would normally, because we need to stay healthy. We're in more of that age group that is more vulnerable, particularly I am. And, so we're a little bit more careful about that. So, these are things that we are doing. It's not that we won't be using takeout. We probably will. It's just we're trying to eat at home as much as possible. My daughter and her husband, my son and his wife, they are younger, and they are eating out a little bit more. Not eating out, but, taking in takeout food, because nobody's eating out right now. Let me make that clear. Nobody is eating out. As I reviewed what I filmed, I realized that I wanted to, and sometimes you'll see some pauses, and the reason why those pauses are there is I'm trying to be careful about my language so that this stays up, because I think it'll be a good public service kind of thing. But there are certain keywords that, from watching other videos, I'm trying to not say, because I'm trying to keep politically correct while being informative, which is an interesting thing to try to do. Anyway, I did want to mention my brother, my half-brother, that I learned about having last year. And I have tried to contact him. I have not written him since December, and I haven't had any contact from him. I hope he's well, because I do know he has some health concerns that, we're giving him some pause, and I am hoping he is doing okay. I did try calling him and leaving a message, but he doesn't have voicemail set up. So I will be writing him, but that is something I'm doing with him. I have checked in with some nieces and nephews, and actually just one niece, not my nephews at this point. My children have checked in with them, so that way I have. One particular niece lives out in California, so I did check in with her, just because I wanted to make sure she was doing okay. And so I did a little messaging with her on Friday. I have been in contact with lots of cousins and checking in with them. And so these are the things that we're doing. Just remember the people you love in your life and to try to check in with them. It not only helps you, my husband, I wanted to mention too, had a brother, one of his brother called him. and checked in with him. And, it's really nice when you're doing that, especially at a time like this. We should always do that, but, when things are going well, we don't always think to do it. And it's really nice when we do, and especially at times like these. So keep checking in with your loved ones, and that also will actually help you get through this. So I hope that this is helpful. My neighbors across the street, they are missing each other terribly. They have 3 daughters, and they're very close family. We see them visiting at the grandparents' house all the time, and it's very quiet over there. And, but I'm friends with them on Facebook, and they got together at a nature center, practiced social distancing, and had a wonderful outing. So their grandchildren are going to have some wonderful memories of this time. They aren't able to be together, but they are together as much in spirit as they can be, and physically, in a sense, as they can be. They can't maybe meet at each other's houses, but they found a way. So I think there's a lot of healthy practices that are being put in place here, and there are ways to get through it. And I wanted to share that with you because I thought that was just wonderful. I am seeing some homeschooling things that are coming through, and projects that wouldn't be happening again with my neighbors across the street. The grandson built an igloo out of cardboard and had the triangles and so on. And I said, this is math, this is wonderful. And I mentioned the triangles and stuff. And the funny thing is that a fellow reading specialist that I work with posted a more, something that was like a learning suggestion that somebody had up that was the same concept. It was a little more, little less kid-like built, but it was the same thing. So I said, my neighbor did that last week. Actually, day 1 of our, no school quarantine type thing. So, kids are doing some wonderful things out there with their parents' supervision, and learning can still happen. It's just in a different way. It's going to be a really good thing, I think, for education, because I think probably parents will appreciate what educators do. And I think there's going to be more online things that are set up. So, there'll be more distance learning, I hope. I would hope. I know in Canada they're doing that. I would hope in the United States they're doing that. Being out of touch with education here in the U.S. right now, because I was not in the field, and I don't want to get into that, but there was a whole thing that, yeah, I better not get into that because I don't want to get into any sticky stuff and go into any rants right now about that. Anyway, I hope they're doing that. I have a channel that was supposed to have been for educational purposes, and unfortunately, I am not set up to do it the way I want to do it, so I don't know. But I will probably be posting maybe more videos on that if this thing continues and I stay healthy. I am having, as you can hear, maybe once in a while, a little bit of sinus drainage and stuff like that. I don't think that's the COVID-19. It's allergy season for me. So, there is that too, that we have to go, am I getting sick, or is this just my regular old me? So far I think it's just my regular old me. So no fevers and so on like that. So anyway, we're making it through this Monday, and I hope I return with some more Make It Monday things. I hope to make some banana bread, and I'm going to try to make actual bread with yeast. soon. So that will be coming up too. So we're making it through Monday, and stay tuned for more next week. And I'm not sure if it'll just be a making it through Monday or it'll be a make it Monday, but I'm hoping a make it Monday soon. We'll see you. Bye-bye.